Now, Zoomlion Ghana Limited has lost an appeal against the Auditor General over 184 million cedi paid to the waste management company by the National Health Insurance Authority. The Auditor General surcharged and disallowed the amount paid, describing it as fraudulent. But Zoomlion went to court to challenge the surcharge. JoyNews is learning and Accra High Court today ruled against Zoomlion. Manasseh Azuri Awone has been following this story. He joins us on the line with details. Hello, Manasseh. Manasseh, let's start with a brief background to this case.
Gifty, this is one of 3 or 4 fumigation cases or contracts which involves Zoomlion Ghana Limited. And this particular one was awarded to Zoomlion by the Ministry of Health, but payments are made from the National Health Insurance Program. And we know that there's already an existing fumigation contract between Zoomlion and all the assemblies in this country. And the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development also awarded contracts to Zoomlion and its sister companies to do fumigation, that's open spraying. And then this one is named NAMCOP, Nationwide Mosquito Spraying Program, the control program, which in the assemblies, the people who are supposed to supervise this contract don't know the difference between this fumigation of spraying and the existing ones between Zoomlion and then the assemblies. So it is part of the issues we highlighted at JoyNews in the Robbing the Assemblies documentary in 2017. So the Auditor General did work on this particular one and came to the conclusion that Zoomlion did not have basis to take payments which amounted to 184,900,000 Ghana cedis. So Zoomlion went to court to challenge or appeal the decision by the Auditor General to surcharge and disallow this particular amount. And in the court process, the Auditor General argued that Zoomlion was or is a fraudulent entity which has been a drain on the resources of this country. Zoomlion challenged this assertion, but it appears the court agreed with the Auditor General.
We're told, Manasseh, and I'll come to what this ruling actually means and what actions should follow. But we're told that the Auditor General used the Robbing the Assemblies documentary as evidence in this case. How true is this and how relevant was that documentary to the case?
Well, it is true the Auditor General actually wrote to JoyNews for a copy of the Robbing the Assemblies documentary, the part 2, focused on fumigation. So that was added. I'm sure those who follow the case realize that Zoomlion tried to object to the tendering of our documentary, but the court accepted it. This documentary is very important because it details the different forms of fumigation. And in that documentary, you would hear from the Assemblies Waste and Sanitation Directors who actually were asked direct questions. Are you able to differentiate between the Assembly's fumigation and then the fumigation from Ministry of Health? And their response was that no.
Right.
They didn't know that there was any different fumigation. So it was very crucial in this case.
Let's take excerpt of that documentary, Manasseh. I'll come back to you and then we'll talk about what this ruling means and what's supposed to happen after this. Here are excerpts of that documentary, Robbing the Assemblies.
At the Tamale landfill site, which is managed by Zoomlion, we witnessed fire burning and plastic bags flying in all directions at the time of our visit. There was no single worker at the site except a security man and equipment that appeared well rested. At the Kumasi landfill site, which is managed by J. Stanley Owusu, bulldozers, tipper trucks and compactors were busy at work, leveling, compacting and covering with laterites.
This is the tipping phase of the landfill. This is where we work daily. You see most of the machines at work. The dozer is pushing all that the tricycles have brought in. The roll-off and the skip trucks are all coming in with the compactors. And so this is where each day the operations goes on. So we call it the working phase of the landfill. So you can also see other tipper trucks with latrats. We call it covering material. So we are creating access road and at the same time covering. And so the ideal is it should be daily covering so that there will not be flies, rodents, insect vermins to have access to the actual waste that we dump here. And it also prevents odor. You could see you've been here for some time now, but the place doesn't smell as such because of the covering that you see going on.
At the Kong landfill site, which is managed by West Landfills Limited, the situation is an eyesore.
This is the Kong landfill site near Tema in Accra. As you can see, there is no covering that has been done, and apart from this truck which is pushing, it seems nothing is being done to cover the rubbish. The access road to this place is also blocked because the road is not kept well, and when it rains, the trucks and tricycles find it very difficult to get in here. Unlike what happens at the KMA landfill site, the rubbers and other plastic materials are flying around, and the leachate is also flowing into the nearby water bodies and also communities here.
There is no, I wouldn't qualify as at now as near landfill site. The reason is simply that per the design and how we go by it, when we don't go daily pushing compaction, followed by daily capping. But all these things have failed on the part of the contractor because we don't do the daily capping, and they have their reasons as to why they don't do. But what I know is that it's not done, and it should have been done every day. No matter the volume of the waste that come here, they should have tried to do it. The materials are available to help us do the day, but the available means or equipment to use are not at hand. So all these things are.
We'll be speaking to the Auditor General himself, but Manasseh Azure-Awene is still on the line with me. He put together that documentary which was also used in that court case. Manasseh, what does this mean?
Hello?
Yes, Manasseh, what does this ruling mean? What's supposed to happen?
Okay, I think this ruling, what it really means is that a lot needs to be done in terms of following up on some of the issues we have raised. It is important to stress that this is about the first time an action of this nature is being taken against Zoomlion, which has been exposed in a number of fraudulent contracts. Outside the country in 2013, World Bank banned Zoomlion for paying bribes to execute a contract in Liberia for 2 years. But in Ghana, no action of this nature has been taken. And it is important to state that the other aspect of the litigation, the one with the Ministry of Local Government, the police have finished their investigation and submitted a docket to the Attorney General. It is strange why that case, we haven't heard anything about it. That was done, the docket was submitted last year, and that case is even stronger than what the Auditor General has been able to get victory. So I am expecting the Attorney General, Gloria Ekufu, to also proceed to court because over 200 million Ghana cedis has been spent on that particular contract.
Manasseh Azure-Awene, Manasseh, thank you. Manasseh Azure-Awene there, who did that documentary, robbing the Assemblies, which was part of the evidence admissible in court for that particular case. We'll be talking to Daniel Domlevo, who is the Auditor General himself, on the line, and we'll find out from him as well what this means and what the way forward will be. If you've been following the discussion, the court today ruled against Zoomlion, which had appealed a previous ruling, a previous action by the Auditor General after it issued. The Auditor General issued a surcharge to Zoomlion following that contract that it got from the National Health Insurance Authority.
The site, at the Tamale landfill site, which is managed by Zoomlion, we witnessed fire burning and plastic bags flying in all directions at the time of our visit. There was no single worker at the site except a security man and equipment that appeared well rested. At the Kumasi landfill site, which is managed by J. Stanley Owusu, bulldozers, tipper trucks and compactors were busy at work, leveling, compacting and covering with laterites.
This is the tipping phase of the landfill. This will work daily. You see most of the machines at work. The dozer is pushing.
Let's get back on the lines now where Auditor General Daniel Domlevo joins us with some more. Mr. Domlevo, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. You must have heard this news with a lot of excitement.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good.
It's quite exciting because that's what we wanted, and we are grateful that the court has upheld our position.
What sort of arguments did you put before the court that led to this ruling from your perspective?
Our argument is very simple. According to Article 187, Clause 7 of the Constitution, anytime the Auditor General comes across any item of expenditure which is unlawful or which is contrary to law, the Constitution requires that we should disallow it and surcharge. So we think that the payment to Zoomlion was contrary to law, and we have disallowed and surcharge. And we decided to go to court to appeal it. And thank God this morning the court threw out the appeal.
What does this ruling then mean? It means, from my perspective, that your previous action is sustained. But tell us more.
So what it means is that the judge more or less have confirmed our position. So it means the debt has been confirmed. So my action as Auditor General in disallowing has been sustained by the court. Therefore, we may have to take the next step by talking to my lawyers and see what we do to retrieve the money.
So as it stands now, Zoomlion is supposed to pay back the state 184 million cedis, correct?
Yes, to the consolidated fund here. We have to refund that money to government.
But you'll have to liaise with your lawyer as to the Auditor General's lawyer as to how exactly that amount will be retrieved.
Yes, I don't really understand the legal processes in doing these things. They say you have to enter judgment, you have to do some business. That's why I say I have to talk to my lawyers. They know what to do. And then we see how it goes.
I know that there are several other cases in which you've taken similar action. I mean, you have surcharged, you have disallowed, etc. What do you think this particular outcome from the court does to the other cases and to fighting corruption generally?
Well, each case and its own merit. We can't use one case to determine the other. But the truth of the matter, I would like Ghanaians to understand it, is that our intention is not to deny anybody who has genuinely worked for government, provided services to government, or supplied goods to government. It's only when we think that you have not rendered the service and the payment has been done to you, or the contract is contrary to law, that is where we come in to disallow and surcharge. But we are human beings. We are not above, we are not perfect people. So you can challenge our decision, which is a right given by the same Constitution that you can appeal. Under Article 187, Clause 9, it provides that one who is aggrieved can appeal to the High Court. So since we are also human beings, anytime we disallow and people are not happy, we go to the court. And so the court listens to our side of the story, listens to your side of the story. If the court is of the view that what we did is above board, then he supports our position. But if they think that no, we erred, and in some cases, of course, some people, even when they file the appeal, we see the documentation that they have filed We even write to the court to say that, yes, we agree with them, because we didn't see some of the information that they provided us now, earlier on. If we had seen it earlier on, we would have disallowed. So we even go to the court at times to say, look, you can put it aside and we go. But in some cases like this one, we don't believe that we did anything wrong. We think that the expenditure is just contrary to law.
We also understand that part of your argument in court, backing part of your argument in court, you used the JoyNews documentary, Robbing the Assemblies.
Yes. Yes. And that documentary was very useful and helpful. And it gives, you know, you can speak several paragraphs for hours. But when you watch the video, it tells you exactly what we are talking about. So I will commend Joy FM for good work done. I think we owe it as a responsibility to our nation, the media, civil society, Ghanaians, audit service, public servants, to protect the public purse. So kudos to Joy FM. They did a very good job, which has also helped us.
Well, thank you very much. But I'd like to, before you go, I'd like to find out how soon the next steps that ought to be taken on the back of this ruling will take place. How soon?
Well, now that we have even applied for a copy of the judgment. Okay. And we are sure that we will get a copy of the judgment maybe Monday or Tuesday. So if we get a copy of the judgment, because I asked my lawyers, what is the first thing we should do? They say we have to get a certified copy of the judgment. So when we get the certified copy of the judgment, then we take the next step.
Okay, so hopefully next week we should expect some actions from there.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, sir, and congratulations to your office. Auditor General Daniel Domlovo there, an obviously excited man over the action. So if you're just following, a court has just sustained the Auditor General's decision to disallow and surcharge Zoomlion an amount of 184 million involving a contract it had with the Health Ministry.